My name is Didier Malenfant. People actually call me Dids. I'm the president of Radiodon Studios, the makers of Daxter on PSP. So Radiodon Studios actually stands for, it's the initials of the three founders, Rue, Andre, and Didier. My background, before starting Radiodon, I was actually senior programmer at Naughty Dog and worked on the first two Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy and Jak 2. Rue and Andre both come over from Blizzard and worked on the StarCraft and Warcraft franchises. So Daxter takes place between the first Jak and Daxter and the second game. There is this 2-year gap where Jak has been captured by the Crimson Guards and he's being experimented on for the Byron's Dark Eco experiments. And Daxter is on his own, kind of really roaming the bars and telling his stories. While at the same time, the metal bugs are infesting the city. And what metal bugs are is they're smaller versions of the metalheads that you get to see in Jak 2. And so Daxter kind of mistakenly gets hired as a pest exterminator to help fight the onslaught. The owner actually thinks there's this big, brave guy, and of course we all know Daxter really isn't. But Daxter kind of thinks, you know what, I really need a job, I'm running out of money, and I need to find a way to access different parts of the city so I can maybe try and find Jak. Well, ever since the first Jak and Daxter, people have really been asking for a Daxter game. And the PSP was the perfect platform for us to do an exclusive game, something that you will never get to play on any other platforms, and that really features Daxter as the main character. That's finally the star of the show, and yeah, it's something that was kind of just the right thing to do, because he's really the best character in the whole series, and people absolutely adore him. And so he finally gets center stage and gets to run the show. And Jak is in prison, so he's got nothing to say about it. Daxter being the star of the game, what that allows us to do is basically make the game in spirit a lot closer to the first Jak and Daxter. It's a game that's a lot more fun and bright and happy, as opposed to kind of the directions that the rest of the series took on PlayStation 2. Daxter is really, this fun, go-happy character. He's wacky. You can't do something serious with him, and so that really kind of set the tone for what we were going to do in terms of design, but also kind of what graphically the game was going to look like. It's a lot brighter, a lot more fun, and also on the music side, we really just have music that's much more whimsical and fun as opposed to kind of dark and serious. So what we did for the game was basically, again, it's just kind of a throwback to the first Jak and Daxter. We did something where, instead of trying to be an RPG platformer or a shooter platformer or, a racer platformer, Daxter is actually, totally not ashamed to be a platformer. And it's really kind of a classic, classic platforming gameplay, while at the same time with things like the spray off hovering mechanic and the things that we've added to the game, we really build on to the classic gameplay and deliver something that's really a huge step forward in terms of what you can do, and in terms of the kind of mechanic that you can play throughout the game. The spray hover is described by some people as a platformer without platform. So it's like really the step that games took by just adding jump and creating platformers. We're taking another step forward by adding spray hovering, which is just on top of the jump, really a mechanic that's much more complex, but also a lot more fun to do. Daxter is packed full with different types of gameplay, which is something that we really wanted to do. I mean, you get, of course, the main game is platforming and bug fighting action with your electric fly swatter. But you also get some missions where Daxter goes off crop dusting outside the city, and that's like vehicle mechanics, but also sequences where he gets chased by things, and so he has to hop on a zoomer and try and escape. You also got something that we showed a little bit recently. We showed the dream sequences, and dream sequences are kind of our way of making fun of Daxter as a character. Daxter gets to fall asleep, when he's tired. He's one guy prone to take a lot of naps, and so he goes in his dreams, and in his dreams he's really the big hero. He's the guy that that beats everybody and comes out on top. And then at the side of that, one thing that we added that we really felt would add a lot to the game and to the experience is the bug combat. And what the bug combat does is that it lets you, through bugs that you pick up throughout the levels, that kind of scattered around and in sometimes secret places, sometimes just out there waiting for you to pick them up. You can actually pitch your 2 bugs either against the computer or one of your buddy using Wi-Fi, against each other. And this is kind of this like underground, street corner league of bug fighting where people will go and just try and fight each other and see who comes out on top. It's a turn-based gameplay that's completely different from the rest of the game and just so much fun just to play with somebody else. Daxter really is, the first PlayStation 2, portable PlayStation 2 game, around. The graphics are just as good, if not better, than PS2 titles out there. I think people are going to be really, really impressed and really excited to see what the platform can do and see what PSP really can do.